And welcome back to Otaku News Live for March 5th, 2011, roughly, where we are talking about all of the anime and manga news of the week, and there's quite some interesting stuff. As usual, I have with me Matt Dixon from the Life and Tims of Anime. Hello, Hat Sir.
Hello, Brent, and the rest of the co-hosts, and the chat room. It is always a pleasure to be here.
Always glad to have you. And Miniman as well. Welcome, welcome.
As always, I am here to ruin the entire show by being myself, sadly.
It works.
And welcome, Zan from Otaku Underground.
Hello, everyone. Rising Zan here.
How are things underground, by the way?
Going well.
Good.
Finally do voice, and with that top list that you recommended me.
Oh, yes.
So
good.
That's gonna be very entertaining, I hope. I even have, I'll save it for later.
Okay, fair enough.
Stop the mole invasion.
Question, who's more underground? You being underground or me being in Matt's basement?
Definitely me.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I have to deal with moles
Moles.
that keep on going into the ventilation system. It's really annoying.
Do you have mole men?
Not yet.
Okay, good.
He's got mole women.
Oh.
They're talking moles, but not so much men moles.
Okay.
They talk though. They're like the people in that one game where everything talks.
Oh, okay.
And now to the news show.
All right, so let's get on to the news, as Miniman so accurately puts it. So, first off, some news on Goro Miyazaki's next film. This is Hayao Miyazaki's son, the guy who directed Tales from Earthsea a couple years back. And so his film is slated to come out July 16th in Japan. It's an adaptation of a shoujo manga. And some lovely art out there for that. And I'm just glad to see Goro Miyazaki getting some more work. I really thought that Tales from Earthsea was an interesting and well-structured first film. You know, not the best film ever, but for a first film, you know, impressive. So I'm glad to see him doing something that's not, you know, like his previous film. I think it's a good thing.
Question.
Yes.
Why does it remind me of Ponyo?
Ah, interesting. There is
that little ship from Ponyo, like right
yeah. There is certainly sort of a Ponyo feel to it. There's a girl with braids, clearly not the girl herself or Ponyo herself, but that's true. It does have sort of that feel.
Maybe it's Ponyo's daughter.
Maybe.
Reloaded.
That's style.
So basically, it's going to take all of the influence that made it great and make it crap again.
Right, yeah. That would be the model, wouldn't it? But yeah.
It's good to see Goro Miyazaki doing something. Really, yeah. It's there were a lot of a weird thing between Goro and his father, Miyazaki himself. So it's good to just not see that that's all behind him, but he's doing films again. And is this being done with Ghibli?
Yeah.
Thought so, yeah. So it's good that obviously whatever happened between him and his father hasn't taken it too personally and said, you don't work for Ghibli anymore.
Yeah.
Because that does happen, it's, especially with a family, because, family members can overreact a bit more. It's good to see him still in Ghibli and doing a film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I also think it's also different because, basically, Goro is the new generation, and he's going to be stepping in for Miyazaki's place. And Miyazaki is always a great man, so Goro's got some big shoes to fill. And if Miyazaki thinks Goro's doing one thing wrong, he's going to tag him for it, saying, "Hey, I'm great. Do exactly what I'm doing, and you'll be fine." But the problem is that Goro is from this different generation where stuff is different now.
Yeah.
There's like a new way to do anime nowadays as well. It's not always completely just doing scenes hand drawn bit by bit. It's different. Technology is different.
Yeah, and I mean, Hayao for a long time has been sort of a holdout for the traditional way of doing things. and has been really pushing that. And there's this, and I'm sure this is an idea within Ghibli of saying, maybe there are ways we can expand and do things differently.
Yeah.
And I mean, you see that with a lot of other studios, where once they moved over to the computer, they realized, wow, we now have the capacity to do a lot more stuff than we could before. As they were saying, when they moved over to digital, they realized, yes, this saves us a lot of time, so we can put that time into other things. Which is really, really cool. So who knows where that's going to go with Ghibli, but like I say, it's good seeing that, and it's good seeing somebody who, I mean, Tales from Earthsea is not a traditional Ghibli film.
Yeah.
There's a girl who's nearly raped halfway through.
Nice.
There's swords and blood and some really unpleasant stuff that goes on in there, and it's good seeing folks saying, okay, Ghibli doesn't necessarily mean Kiki's Delivery Service for everything.
Yeah.
Well, at least. Why does Tales of Earthsea remind me of Now Then Here and There?
Not that bad. Not that bad. Not that bad. Oh.
He used a stick. Stick. That's mad.
I will say one thing to remind you, Now Then Here and There, The Rock in the pool. Yeah, that's wow. Now Then Here and There is a very and not bad, a very depressing series.
Things to watch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. One of the toughest things. I mean, Grave of the Fireflies level stuff there.
Oh god.
It's it's.
The ending makes you feel like you wasted your time, and that's how the ending made me feel after I streamed through all 12 episodes in one night.
Oh, I thought it was one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen.
Well, like the ending just made me feel like, wait, why did I watch this again? Because like the world gets resolved, but like the guy, he's just like it's like nothing ever happened to him.
Well, I think that's kind of the point.
I guess.
Yeah.
I felt bad for him because I felt bad for him and his manly stick.
Yeah. Well, hello. But I thought that was kind of the point of it. That it's one of the. This is by the guy who directed Kadocha and Fruits Basket. So hello. But but part of it, and without getting into spoiler territory, is the fact that the main character is a very upright young man who's thrown into this horrible situation, and seeing how he sticks to his beliefs. So interesting. Anyway,
at least we know that Goro is not taking the whole "you're doing things differently" Miyazaki thing too personally. Otherwise, the opening theme would just be people try to put us down.
Yeah. And that's a very good point. I mean, if that had been too much of a problem, he just wouldn't have made any more movies at Ghibli.
Yeah.
Pushed out or not, he would have just said, "Okay, never mind."
I would have kind of liked to see him move on to a different company, though, in a way, because it's
yeah.
It's
I don't
just
think Ghibli suits the style at all. To be honest.
Well, yeah, there's that as well. It's nice to see expansion, because although I love Ghibli films, Ghibli is the top of anime films at the moment. It'd be nice to see. I'm not bothered if this new company that Goro would make, it's all theoretical. If it had a chance or not, it'd just be nice to see the news of people going, "Ooh, Goro's made a new company. That's going to piss his father off." It'd be nice to see the furore that would create.
Yeah,
that would be interesting to see. To see the reaction of the people, to see why isn't Goro stuck with Ghibli? Why has he gone against his father? What's happened? What is this going to do for Goro? What's this going to mean for Miyazaki? It's will Hayao change his film style in spite of his son's new moving? That kind of thing. It would be interesting to see. So it's a shame that he's stuck with Ghibli, but at the same time, it's good that he has, because otherwise he probably wouldn't be making another film for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's also interesting. One thing I just thought is that Studio Ghibli is basically the Disney of Japan.
Yeah.
And if anyone knows Disney as well as I am, Disney is basically the pinnacle for purity. If you watch any Disney movie,
technical purity.
Yeah, for anything too bad about it.
Yeah.
And the movies that they do edge on that purity, most likely aren't heard of again. Anyone ever heard of The Great Mouse Detective?
Yeah.
Had smoking in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I loved that movie as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but yeah, I think that's another reason why Miyazaki is also kind of hard on Goro, and probably why he's kind of hard on with Tales of Earthsea because of that close rape scene.
Yeah. Well, and also the fact that, in the first scene involves the young hero murdering his father. Huh.
Do it. Yep.
That's no psychoanalyzing there.
Not at all. Not at all.
No. Actually, it's funny. There's just to go off on that for a quick second. A reporter asked him about that, like when the movie came out, and apparently Goro's reaction was, I honestly never realized that, but now that you point that out, wow. I totally see where you're going with that. That kind of that is kind of scary, isn't it? So I appreciate the fact that Goro was like, wasn't intentional, but that's interesting.
Yes.
But
I like
anyway.
how he still didn't deny it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't do it intentionally, but
Yeah, I can imagine his reaction in Japanese, like, oh, so this man.
You're right.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, Goro's gone on record for calling his father a goose egg as a father. Just completely not present and all that kind of stuff. Pretty unpleasant. But yeah.
From what we've learned of Hayo's career, or the way he's taken his career so seriously, no one is surprised.
Right.
He made that comment.
Yeah.
Hayo, is always there when making a film. He's always drawing till late, and he's like, we heard the old interviewer story that Hayo didn't give the dude an interview. He just sat there and drew.
Yeah.
So he's just gonna draw and pay attention to nothing else.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that how Miyazaki's so strange for his family, from a guy whose all of his films go family values are the most important things ever.
Well, family values sell as a thing. That's the trick right there.
Well,
people say all the time, like, screw family movies, but that's what's popular. That's how you earn money.
Yeah.
Disney, DreamWorks, etc.
Yeah.
Earns money.
And if you look at his films, I mean, what's the family in Nausicaa? What's the family in Mononoke? What's the family in Kiki's Delivery Service? There are very few nuclear families in Miyazaki's works, really. They're all about finding your family amongst the people you work with, really. Which is, interesting.
I kind of like that message, but I do see where you're going there. I would say that there's some family values now.
Oh, yeah.
The village,
Yeah.
As for Princess Mononoke, no, they kind of banned you from the village. Yeah, you're screwed.
You are dead to us now just because you cut your hair. Go away.
Yeah.
And you put up war, you go away.
You saved our lives. We don't like you anymore.
Pretty much.
And even worse, in the Steam Village, you're a man. Fuck off.
Actually, you actually removed the second word, and some of the girls there were more interested in that, I would say, based on their reaction to him. Ooh, he looks muscular. But it's very, very interesting.
There was the flirting scene with the while he was working at the Steam.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look how far she can push down blocks. We should probably move on.
Yeah.
Cracks at Ghibli.
Yeah. Good stuff there. All right, so in completely non-Ghibli move, we have the distribution plan for Appleseed 13. However you pronounce that. And so basically, here's the idea. They're going to debut this simultaneously in Japanese theaters. So you know how an anime film or an anime series will get like a two compilation movie release. Well, they said, screw it, we're going to do that movie release and release the first Blu-ray and release it for streaming all on the same day.
So it's going to be in the cinemas and on Blu-ray?
Yes. In fact, they're going to sell the Blu-ray in the lobby of the theater.
Wow. Actually, at first I thought that was really stupid, but some people specifically don't go to the cinema because they just want to wait for the Blu-ray. Best of both worlds. You can go to the cinema, see it on the big screen. Yeah. For the people that want to, and the people, because the people that want to go see it in the cinema also want it on DVD if they like it. That is, if they like it. So they get to see it on the big screen because I'll admit I like seeing it on the big screen. It's kind of nice. Yeah. It's just it's a good social occasion. And then once you're done with all the social occasion, you can buy the DVD and Blu-ray. So I'm just going to call them DVDs because that's basically what they are. Films on discs. And then go watch it at home, or do what you want. Watch it in a day or two and watch it for yourself. You've had the social occasion of not 100% paying attention to the film, and then you get to buy it straight away if you liked it, and then go home with it.
And one interesting thing about this too is that apparently and it's a little unclear in the original article, but apparently you're getting the first 3 episodes of the 13-episode TV series on that disc. So you're not getting the movie. You're getting, a large chunk of the material the movie is sort of an adaptation of. So I think it's a very interesting direction where they say, okay, you've seen the movie, now
watch the series.
Yeah, now watch the series. And then
It's the complete opposite of what Death Note did.
Exactly.
So Death Note took its stuff and then added extra scenes. What this is doing is it's doing the Death Note, this is what happened films, and then it's saying, did you like that? Watch the anime, and we'll have extra scenes, and you can admire how in this version Briareos actually looks cool.
Yeah, and they've got, and they've got. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, is anyone going to hit me for saying that at first glance the poster makes me think this looks like a free-to-play RPG? It does.
You have a point.
It looks like Flip for Fiesta or one of those games. That's what this looks like with the drawing style to me, honestly.
I will not admit or disadmit that I may have played Flife.
I played Flife too, but then my computer blew up, so there.
Yeah. And I mean, this is going to be a pretty high-profile thing. I mean, they got Maya Sakamoto playing Doinen. She was Hitomi in Escaflowne, Luna Maria Hawk in Gundam Seed Destiny, Michio Amano in Canon, all sorts of other stuff. And Briareos is played by Koichi Yamamoto, who was Spike Spiegel, Togusa in Ghost in the Shell. What else on here that was kind of interesting?
Best thing ever.
Yeah. Ryoga in Ranma 1/2, so that's going back quite a ways.
He was a piggy.
Say what?
Yeah.
He was a piggy.
He was a piggy, exactly.
He was a pigoo.
So really significant things, and I really like that idea that, and sort of expanding from what we were saying, you go see it in the theaters, you get it on Blu-ray. The rest of it becomes available like the week after, and it's all streaming online the next week. So you get a sort of a feel for it, and then you go, oh, now I can watch the entire thing online if I want to, and then buy the discs. The second film will open October 24th, so that's quite interesting.
The one thing I would want to comment on is, I like the sneaky sort of money grab they've done here with where's the DVDs, which are generally half the price. It's Blu-ray specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, over in Japan, I'm guessing it's pretty much now Blu-ray's. Oh, sorry, I keep knocking my hat. It's ultra common. Over here, at least in England, not everyone's made the transition to Blu-ray yet.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing in Japan, HD TVs are probably cheaper.
Well, no, in Japan, Blu-ray players are the same price as DVD players are here. They are.
Well, what about the DVDs? The actual discs.
Good question.
I think it's just like how we replaced VHS to DVD several years ago, and now the price has gone back to what VHSs were. It's like that in Japan. Japan's just what's going to happen in 10 years.
Yeah,
well, everything's expensive in Japan.
Yeah, from what I can tell, I think Blu-ray discs are somewhat more expensive than DVDs in Japan, but it's not the disparity we have over here.
Yeah. But it's still, the point is still the same, that it's still more expensive. They haven't done the DVDs.
Now, to be fair, after the movie comes out, the week after when everything else drops, the entire series, that is also going to be available on DVD.
Yeah.
So that's nice, but I agree. I kind of am impressed with, you come to the theaters and you buy the Blu-ray. You don't buy the DVD, you buy the Blu-ray. For $9,000.
Just theatre for those posh people. If you cannot afford a Blu-ray, why did you come here?
That's.
You've got to think how many people will go up to the desk and go, "Do you have any DVD?"
Yeah.
There will be a lot of people that do that.
I so hope they just totally exploit Spike Spiegel's Briareos, but throwing him a couple of just odd references. Just Briareos, you must save Junior Newt. Yes, I will find Julia. What?
Why do I keep thinking of this Julia person? Who is she?
Why do I keep thinking of a certain event in episode 25 that's going to change the entire story? I should probably continue on with what I was going to say.
So a really interesting idea. I'm glad to see. Actually, I'm glad to see the streaming being sort of pushed up into becoming kind of on the same level as DVDs and Blu-rays. That needs to be an integral part of the release plan. It's very important these days.
Anime Take is going to have a wonderful day on that day. It's literally just going to be like all the episodes just freezing. Because usually, sometimes with old animes where imports, the entire front screen of anime is just like import with like just loads of words like Cowboy Bebop is all here now.
Yeah.
But it's like Appleseed 13, and yes, this is new.
All of it?
I love the fact though that like this is gonna be because when March they announced Appleseed 13. As you know, as a massive Appleseed fan, I totally freaked out. And then I was just like, wow, I love that sort of tension that you get when you watch something that's on a week-to-week basis. And it's like, we're going to release all of it in one go, and it's sort of crap and yes at the same time.
Yeah. Now, it's actually one of the kind of interesting things about this is the fact that they're not even bothering with the TV release. It's just going straight to DVD, the entire thing.
Well, maybe it's just, especially with some of the films and with some of the later chapters of Appleseed, it may be just a case of nobody really wants it anymore because if the films, if it goes to what the films did, it will be unimpressive and it will go further, and if it goes further, a lot of TV places won't be exactly happy with some of the content.
Yeah.
If they do direct sort of translation, and there probably are going to be just some differences because if there aren't, I'll kill them because you've got to have differences,
right?
Otherwise, I get bored.
Exactly.
In terms of TV, are we talking Western or in Japan TV?
Japan TV.
Japan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I kind of expected there to be, but like you say, and that could have been part of their idea is, well, I don't know. I mean, I think if you're going to do an OVA. You do an OVA. You don't do 13 22-minute episodes. That screams TV to me. So I gotta suspect they basically said we're gonna do kind of a High School of the Dead. We're gonna do a mature-ish series with mature content, and I can only assume that just nobody picked it up.
Yeah,
which shocks me. Yeah,
someone picked up freezing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no. I mean, I'm not saying that because freezing's bad because. It's come clear to me after several episodes that it clearly isn't anymore.
Okay.
It's evolved fantastically.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised that they can continue showing it because it's the backstories especially are some of the darkest things I have ever seen.
Wow.
I watched Elfen Lied and I had trouble watching one of the episodes because the themes were just too dark.
Wow.
Like I had to pause it and take a break. I was like, I don't think I can handle this sort of seriousness. And luckily they did the classic, okay, we apologise for making you feel that. The next episode's the comedy episode. Yay!
Yeah. So interesting.
And yes, Appleseed.
Yes, Appleseed. Good stuff. Meanwhile, the second Macross Frontier movie, which is, I believe, Goodbye My Wings.
Let's introduce this story properly. 1, 2, 3.
Macross. There we go. Premiered this past week at number 4 in the box office rankings, making 118 million yen in its opening weekend. Moviegoers watched it 81,000 times in 2 days, which is pretty good. So that's about $1.4 million US at current rating, which gives you an idea of the difference in box office ratings in Japan versus America. That $1 million in Japan is like the number 4 biggest openings. Over here, that would be like, wow, you completely failed.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It also got the best average of the weekend's top 10 films in terms of per screen viewings, meaning that where it was showing, a lot of folks showed up. Anime films generally don't get a massively wide release, so fans were definitely showing up for it. For comparison, the first movie premiered at number 9 in the lists, so did very, 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 very well.
Yeah, I unfortunately have not been able to watch any of the Macross Frontier movies.
Yeah, me neither.
I've watched all the series, but however, there's no streaming or subs whatsoever online. So yeah, basically, English speakers are in the dark. I don't know about Spanish or French or Germans, but most likely, since they're more passionate than us English speakers, they already have it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because, well, like most Japanese movies, they fix the problems with it. If you watch any of the manga movies, they fix some of the problems. And they fix the biggest problem that I had with Macross Frontier. Okay, so actually, this is the first Macross show I ever watched.
Okay.
I believe. It was actually recommended by my little sister, and she was watching it ongoing. And, of course, I have laughter because I watch anime like crazy. And the one thing we had in common with the show is we both loved, how I should say, the Glasses character. And we loved the couple that he was with because it was a very sweet and also very interesting couple. However, then an episode happened. Yeah, we didn't like that episode.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically then it came down to, outside the mecha battles, we pretty much had to focus on the romance, because that's what Macross a lot, romance. And basically that's where we started to fight, because you see, she likes Cheryl. I hated Cheryl. She's a whore. I liked Ronka.
Okay.
And basically we were fighting over who the hell should get Alto, and it was basically Jacob versus Edward.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. However, in the movie they fixed it, because the Glasses character does not fear that episode.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's surprising, because to me that was one of the most memorable moments. I think that that was the moment at which the movie, the series really got serious.
It did, but his happenstance was kind of bollocks, to me at least, because what happened...
How so?
Can I get into spoilers?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Let's not do that.
I'm really hopping around here.
I think Macross Frontier could very well go on our How We Do It Better show.
Yes.
But yes, interesting.
Because back with original Macross, I love Maximilian. And basically, Mikhail or Michelle, whatever you call him. Mikhail, damn, it's manly. I loved him because, first of all, he had this very interesting backstory, which touched on because happenstance.
Yeah.
And that was a really interesting story, and they had one episode focused on it, and then the rest was just like, oh, too bad, happenstance happened. And I really liked his love interest. I liked his character, and yes, I will agree that was a very cool way to have a happenstance. However, just how it was done was kind of weird, especially since there was no happenstance to Barry. That was kind of bullish. That was kind of like, hey, maybe he's still alive. Fine.
Yeah.
That was a little bit overkill. I'm really jumping over this. I can't
Fair enough.
I really didn't like the fact that happenstance happened, because then I was basically fighting over with my little sister, who I love so much, about who the hell should go with Alto, in my opinion, one of the worst protagonists in a Macross series. I would say, because he's a pretty boy. That's all he is.
Well, but to be fair, I mean that's standard for Macross. I mean,
was Hikaru a pretty boy?
Hikaru was a pretty boy.
Really?
Well, absolutely. He was a pretty boy.
Was Bosser a pretty boy?
Yes.
No, he was manly.
He was manly, and he was a pretty boy.
You can be pretty manly.
He was Freddie Mercury. That's what he was.
Yeah.
That's the obvious implication.
Yeah.
He was manly. He had the flower girl, for God's sakes. I love the flower girl.
Yeah.
It was awesome, especially the last episode.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting point, too, about just in general how movies will tend to go and, look back at the original Macross. You know, Do You Remember Love is not the plot of the TV series.
Yeah, because they basically threw Midnight under the bus with that one.
They completely reworked that. And, again, I think that was something that actually worked better in the movie. Because she ends up in the same place, basically. But anyway, I mean, it's... And I think the Macross movie is the first time that was ever done, where the storyline was not completely, but dramatically reworked for the film, which I think is a good idea, because when I come to the movie, and we talked about this before, when I come to see the movie, I don't want to see the same exact stuff that's on the TV series.
Yeah.
I'd watch the TV series for that.
Yeah, I was actually really confused with the movie. I initially watched it. What's going on? What? Oh, yeah.
Wait, he's not supposed to die there. What's going on? Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Hayo.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse, what happened to him in the series, what happened to him in the movie. Hayo was the bitch of the series. Like, even though he did this pretty cool... Well, that was Max. Never mind. No, Hayo's a bitch. Never mind. Yeah, Max does all the awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Max is manly. That's why he got the name Macross 7, because he's manly.
There we go.
But yeah, Hayo... Let's see here. Getting killed by a girl after saying that girls are weak in combat, or getting killed by friendly fire.
Yeah.
That's hard to judge.
Tough stuff.
One thing I do like about Macross Frontier, though, is the first opening theme song, because it basically talks about the problems of every single Macross, which is the love triangle, because the song itself is called Love Triangular, and pretty much the lyrics themselves are a love triangle. It's like, love me, no, love me, love me, no, love me.
Yeah.
But,
it's a cool show.
Macross game Frontier, I love you, and I loved how you changed that one part because I love that couple.
Fair enough.
And Matt and Miniman have no idea what I'm talking about.
So,
I've been listening to the weird conversation going on in the chat room.
Oh, it's been the best.
Yes,
Thanks to the
that
chat
has
room
been
for
exciting.
Coming up with that conversation.
Yes.
Hit the Scampy, I will take that deal.
And Ginkgo doesn't know me at all. I feel sad. Ginkgo Art does not know me at all.
See, this is why you watch live people. But if you can't, feel free to watch the YouTube stream. Running on what day do we do this on? Wednesday.
Hello, future people.
Hello.
Future sailors.
Hey. Okay, so Toriko and Luffy are going to meet up.
Whee!
Yay! Time to analyze.
So
That's all you ever say when we bring up Toriko, do you, Miniman? I mean,
See the stretchiness of Luffy's arm in this scene.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
We'll not go any further.
Yeah. It gets so long. So basically, Toriko and Luffy are going to meet in a jungle. The other characters are going to basically meet up somewhere. Chopper, the others, will face danger when they are surrounded by creatures. Which, thanks for the detail there.
So cheesy, it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's going to be this special that will basically premiere. It's not. Okay, yeah. So it'll basically be the run up to the Toriko series. So One Piece airs on Sundays at 9:30 a.m. They're gonna do this crossover special, and then the Toriko anime will start the week after, and they'll do sort of One Piece and Toriko next to each other. The One Piece Toriko Power Hour. And so we'll get to see how all that works out in terms of the crossover. I think it's a really neat idea, though, to just push those together and cross promote.
One thing I would like to say, though, is that, okay, so, Brent, how many American comics have you read / heard of?
American comics?
Yes.
I've heard of a lot. I've read some.
Okay, well, do you know how many times there's a crossover in American comics? Same thing for...
Every 5 minutes.
Yeah, all the time.
Exactly. Now, do you know how rare crossovers are in Japan?
Mm-hmm.
Very rare. And you know why?
Never
Because
happens.
there's basically a respect code in
Well,
Japan in terms of manga and crossovers.
Well, actually, I mean, I would say more the reason is that the
Separate companies hate each other.
Well, no, it's more that the creators are so separate. Marvel owns X-Men and all these other various things, and Rurouni, Kenshin and Tenchi, not Tenchi's a bad example, but One Piece and all these sorts of things are very much owned, separately by these various mangakas. So I think it's a lot harder to bring them together when you can't just bring a writer and say, okay, you write this guy and this guy together.
Yeah, and that's the thing, just to talk about the American thing again, the crossovers are, in the two major hitters, Marvel or DC, crosses between Marvel characters, so it's, it's obvious that they're going to happen, because obviously Marvel's going to do it, because what are they doing with the movies now and their anime?
Yeah.
And then obviously also, DC do it. But, something to bring up as well is why manga doesn't do it as well as the, the separation is, why do it when the doujinshi people do it all the freaking time?
True.
All you're doing is, all the mangaka would be doing if they did a crossover, is what people can get online for free.
Yeah.
They'd be doing it a little better, but
and there would be
doujinshi are good.
And there would be marginally less sex.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the non-sexual doujinshi that I have read, do have a lot of crossovers. In my own face. they're quite good. You know, they're not. You know, they're reasonable quality. So the manga can have very little reason to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I like to say something.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, for starters, in terms of doujinshi, Matt, I'm pretty sure that everyone who works at Marvel is pretty much the guys who make doujinshi. I'm sorry, but like the original creators of like Wonder Woman and Superman, they don't really work at Marvel because Marvel kind of took the idea. Well, that's DC. Never mind. But like basically, Marvel is more like, hey, I need you to do a story. You can use any characters from the Marvel universe you want.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what they're doing. Like there's no like one person owns one comic because basically it's more just like people have to think of crossovers, and that's why there's so many bad comics and bad American comics because really it's just like most people don't know the characters that they're using.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this girl has the powers of Superman. Let's pair them up. What about Lois Lane? How we'll kill her off.
Yeah. Either way, even if it is people that are independent or just don't fully work for Marvel, that's still where you see all the crossovers. That's my point. I'm not saying they're good or bad or great or fantastic. Just that's where you see the crossovers.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just a case of, in the end, you have to talk to the original people who own the characters, and that's just the trouble. And also, just because the whole thing with anime is that they're constantly trying to license new manga and come with new ideas.
Yeah.
Because even like on the ones where they totally abuse the money, i.e. Bleach, it literally is a case of you A, have to get sort of the user's permission, and B, they don't have the need to really make these things, like because they really have to like put it on their design straight off. Like, I mean, there's the whole possible sort of Angel Beats and Clan and that sort of thing set in the same universe type deal.
Yeah.
But the problem is, there's a reason why it's called DC Universe.
Exactly.
And the Marvel meta story.
Yeah.
It's literally that they plan all this crap beforehand. They're not based, because even though they use other people's work, like, in a sense, it's not based fully off it.
Well, and you're absolutely right. I mean, I think one of the other differences too is that in Japan, Naruto is its own franchise. Yeah. One Piece is its own franchise. In America, Marvel is a franchise, and they have these sort of, Green Hornet really, or Green Lantern, or any of these aren't really a full franchise in and of themselves. Yeah. And I think it's one of those things that Marvel has kind of, and DC have really intentionally done for a long time, because it allows them to have characters bounce off each other. And some of the main, the most remarkable moments in American comics have come through crossovers.
Yeah.
So I think they've deliberately designed it around that. But I mean, I also agree. I mean, it is very interesting that even though Akira Toriyama, all these folks have all these different things, their editors at Shonen Jump could absolutely come in and say, no, you are crossovering with this other character.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Why couldn't they?
Well, I mean, editors help them like figure out what stuff to do, and they tell them what needs to work and that kind of stuff.
Right.
I don't think they'd be like, no, you're doing this crossover because.
Well, that's what they did with Akira Toriyama and Dragon Ball Z. I mean, they took Dragon Ball Z away from Akira Toriyama and said, we're going to write it this way.
When was that? I don't know.
Ever heard of Dragon Ball GT?
Oh, good point. I thought he was helping on that, though.
Nope.
No. One's GT, the one where Goku's young?
Yeah. Yes.
That was awesome.
GT, really?
I liked it, yeah.
Well, Dragon Ball GT was the one.
Dragon Ball GT is where he was old, then he was brought young again, and then he became the ape again, and...
Yeah, I liked
it. The one with the daughter? The Pan?
I liked it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Anyway,
I was going to just say one more thing. But
sure.
In terms of crossovers, I think it's usually more of a voluntary thing. As for GT, I think it's more of an anime thing. But
True.
Like for example, I only read one other crossover, and it was with Akira Toriyama and Ichiro Oda. Basically, they put each other's characters. It had some weird, complicated name. It was like a one-shot chapter, but it was awesome because you had Krillin cooperating with Chopper. It's like they knew each other. It's like they were old best friends, basically. There was like, hey, there's a rift opening. No, it's just like they're just in this weird world.
Yeah.
Like, Chopper is like a train engineer. It's just so funny. It's just so hilarious because like apparently Usopp's like this evil doctor. And,
Nice.
Buggy the Pirate and Garlic Jr. work together to destroy the world. Oh, and the eternal Dragon of the Dragon Balls in the last scene inviting everyone to a party while sipping tea.
Nice.
Nice. It's like a 30-page chapter, but it's just so funny because you see everyone like working, interacting with each other. Like, even Nami is like to Bulma is like sure thing, big sister. and it's just it's because Oda obviously drew reference.
Yeah,
he did from Dragon Ball Z. And it's like now that One Piece is at the same high stature as Dragon Ball, they can do this. That's why you don't see crossovers with Dragon Ball Z and Naruto because maybe Kishimoto doesn't see himself at that rate yet. I mean, yeah, sure, he's franchised and he's big, but he's still doing problems with his manga. There's still the issue that Sasuke isn't as popular as he should be.
Yeah.
People still kind of hate him. It's just more of a thing, as in, it's more of a thing of, like, I'm not ready to work with you yet because I'm not the best that I could be. The Japanese are very, obviously very, like, oh, I'm not worthy kind of people, I would say. And crossovers, I have seen very few of them. So I think it's more of a respect thing, honestly.
Well, and you're absolutely right there. I mean, I think editors could come in and demand things. They just don't.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see why. And granted, I think I think manga readers in Japan are different from over. A Marvel fan is used to crossovers because they see them all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know that crossovers would be as welcome. Do you want to see the characters from, I don't know, Toriko show up in Naruto?
Exactly.
The Naruto fans going to freak out.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, in every single manga, there's, like, their own little world.
Yeah.
That's why, if there's going to be a crossover, the reason has to be done pretty well. Like, why the hell there's a crossover?
Yeah.
Or maybe they just both live on Earth.
Also, art style.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly true.
It's a lot of work. That's a very good point.
Just to bring it back to the, Toriko and One Piece thing again.
Aww.
One reason I do like this idea is I'm just interested because again, people know my status on One Piece. We could see this happen in later episodes of One Piece or Toriko. More likely Toriko because obviously One Piece is following the manga 100%. Toriko. Well, I don't know. Toriko might follow the manga 100%, but we might see this like a filler episode, basically.
Yeah,
which would be cool.
Yeah. The amazing thing about Toriko is that it got a really rough start when it was serialized. It basically got the Jump Square. What Jump Square is basically it's the ghetto weekly shonen Jump because basically it's monthly and it's basically second rate is what it is. And, like all the people at Jump, like they don't want to be affiliated with Jump Square because it's like. They kind of see it as like money grubbing, kind of. If you see how Jump Square is portrayed in Bakuman, you'll know why. They show them like money grabbing, popularity starved, like businessmen. Jump Square, but Toriko has risen from that. Now it's a part of Weekly Shonen Jump. So Toriko has gotten well in popularity. That is like it's not just some like 50 chapter series that's trying to cash in. The guy's still going, and it's still a damn good, funny story. So he's going priorities, I'd say.
And the thing is, it's not like a case of Japan in general, like, can't do crossovers, because thanks to the world of gaming, I can now officially believe that any Japanese crossover can happen. Because look what happened recently: Street Fighter X Tekken. What?
Yeah.
Well, that's also games, though. That's games.
But the thing is, a lot because I heard like some people once when I was talking about this a while, like a couple of days ago, they said, well, the thing is that Japanese crossovers, for anything doesn't really happen because that's not how the Japanese work. I was just like, what? Street Fighter and Tekken are getting together. Of course, Japanese crossovers can work. I mean, I think it's just a case of once the media grows enough, then you can start getting the crossovers. Even if they're not designed in it's not the same universe, like. I mean, the problem with anime is that, again, it's all separate. And, it's not designed in the first place to be one straight universe. Because when it's one straight universe, it's usually just a spin-off, like Index to Railgun. I have no knowledge of those things. I will not elaborate at any tool to not offend a certain British host.
I wasn't listening.
There we go.
God damn it, I missed my opportunity. But yeah, I mean, you sort of get the point. It is literally just a case of, you know, I mean, stuff like this inevitably happens at some point, but, you know, I mean, it's just a case of waiting for it. And, you know, when Toriko One Piece movie 3D sort of started, I crackingly made a joke on the show saying, oh yeah, it wouldn't be interesting if it was like the same film. So ironically, one of my predictive jokes has come true.
Mm-hmm.
I have done my job at OMV. I'm now leaving.
Okay.
I can never leave the show.
So yeah, so it's a very interesting situation with that whole thing. All right. So what else have we talked? Say what?
And now to continue.
Also in Studio Ghibli news,
Again.
probably should have done that earlier. Yeah. The Bauer Arietti has won like half of the awards at Tokyo Anime Fair.
Nice.
So unpredictable.
Wow.
Predictable is still a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice to see Ghibli is still on its game.
Exactly. So they won. It won Animation of the Year, Domestic Feature Film, Best Director, Best Art Direction, and Best Music.
And for those of you who just want to know, the winners of Best International was Toy Story 3.
Yep.
And the winners of Best TV was the Tatami Galaxy, and I shall now hit my head against the wall for my awesome hate of this show. Ladies and gentlemen, KO won another freaking thing.
Best OVA was Gundam Unicorn. And Best Screenplay was the screenplay for Colorful, the recent film. And Best Character... This was the shocker. Best Character Design, the designs for Heartcatch Precure.
What was that again?
I don't know that stuff.
Heartcatch Precure, the Magical Girl series. The red-haired girl, blue-haired girl, they're magical girls, they do stuff.
Oh,
I see that picture, I've never watched it.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, it's very popular in Japan. But interesting, it's got very distinctive character designs, but I'm kind of shocked that got best character designs compared to, say, K-On! Or some of these other series where you got very characters that are generally recognized to be very attractive.
I'm shocked that... this is a bit weird. I'm actually quite surprised Lil Pri didn't win. That has some awesome character designs. That's like one of the highlights of the entire thing. The character designs in Lil Pri are awesome. So I'm really shocked that Lil Pri didn't get any of that, because I know it was a kids show, but it's not at all bad. I mean, but yeah, as always, me. Yes, well done, Ghibli. I'm basically just going to do my entire round of the award. Well done, Ghibli. Tatami Galaxy I haven't seen and didn't really care about because I didn't see it.
Okay.
KO, I will punch you all in the face. Yay for Pixar. And Lardy freaking Dar wears panty and stocking. It's basically my roundup of these awards.
Fair enough. Anything else you guys wanted to say about this one?
I wanted to...
Sorry,
go ahead, Matt. Go ahead. No, you go ahead, Matt.
Well, yeah, it's just a thing about Ghibli again. I like seeing Ghibli win awards, but at the same time I don't like it because, again, it's Ghibli's the top power.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo. It would be nice to see just a totally random, even brand new production company or whatever you call it, win an award. Or better yet, as many as Ghibli does.
Come on, Goro!
It'd just be something interesting again to liven up the news. Because, the awards, again, they're pretty predictable with anime sometimes. Or at least the thing you can predict is Ghibli will win an award.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How much you want to bet that, really quick, how much you want to bet in Ghibli that these awards are called the Ghibli Awards in Japan?
They'll be listed Ghibli.
Kind of like how the Oscar, the Animation Awards also called the Pixar Award here in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah, the truth.
They probably just alter the awards and just say, just put Ghibli on them.
Right.
Subscribe Ghibli.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Palladium Theatre, it is the 2011 King's Speech Awards!
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Welcome to the Ghibli Awards. Who won? Ghibli, of course.
Welcome to the Best Thing Ever Awards, sponsored by Microsoft. Yes, Kinect has won it. Worst Thing Ever, also sponsored by Microsoft. Sony, move!
I do want to see someone else win the awards.
Yeah.
But it's still nice to see Ghibli win an award. It's always nice to see an old familiar face get its dues. And Ghibli did that, so props to Ghibli, and congrats, because obviously they earned it. They don't, it's not like a company that isn't earning it, that's just spieling out stuff, is getting these awards. It's a company that, does its work and gets the awards that it deserves. So, props.
Definitely. So, well done, Ghibli, for being yourselves.
Keeping the status quo. Nice one.
Yeah. Hooray.
Okay. So, let's see here. What else?
Actually, I think I didn't mention this, but there's just one quick little news I wanted to mention on the Japan's animation Blu-rays disc ranking. I think Matt wants to also talk about this really briefly.
Yeah?
Number 5, Tanti Milky Holmes. Number 2.
That one, number 5?
Yay!
What?
You obviously weren't listening because you were too busy talking about Mystery Science Theater with me and Miniman. Yeah, it even beat the World God Only Knows, which I don't know why. That's an awesome series. It beat K-On! It beat K-On!
Yes! It beat K-On! So
that show beat K-On! In Blu-ray sales.
Yes.
Well,
it beat Quantum. Oh my gosh! It beat the Block and No Test OVA.
Well, no, wait. Yeah, I understand that these are different weeks of release. One of them may have been in its 5th week of release. So.
Still, the fact that it got number 5 anywhere.
Yeah.
I love the fact.
I've watched one episode of this show, Tanti Milky Holmes. Like a single episode. Have you?
I've watched 5. Yeah.
I watched 5.
I watched 5 as well.
We reviewed it on Life and Tim's. That's the point.
I love the fact. I love the absolute fact though that this seems to be pretty common in OMV, that when we review stuff, Zan always keeps the same opinion. Matt always seems to hate it a bit more, or love it, or hate or loved it. And me, I have somehow, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I have officially forgiven Tanti Milky Holmes. I've actually sort of run out of problems to think about. I don't care about the problems of it anymore, because actually, I did have slight amounts of fun watching that show, and actually I am not at all surprised that it did reasonable, because to be quite honest, yeah, we find it bad, but it's not, and I know you're going to hate me for saying this, Matt, it's not terrible. It's not, and as time's gone by, I've just thought about it, and yeah, I have problems with the storytelling, and I have problems with some of the characters and all that sort of thing, but it's not actually that bad, and that's what's confusing me over time. So as time goes by, I've forgiven it more, and I don't know exactly why, but honestly, I think that is an interesting factor, that it's not that bad.
Fair enough.
So, there we go.
All right.
Just my opinion. I've actually forgiven it.
Well, Miniman, I'll give this series a 3 out of 10, and there's only one reason. The 3 villains are the best part of the show. That's why I'm giving it a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Other than that,
All right.
The little brat. We can go too long, but yeah. Matt, do not like the show, Miniman accepts it. I don't know what Brett thinks.
I haven't seen it.
Don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving on. What else did we want to talk about here? More layoffs at Tokyo Pop.
That's bad.
Yeah,
is this
very
a
bad.
Does Tokyo Pop have a Western distribution? A Western company?
They are Western.
Yeah.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah.
Tokyo Pop is Western.
Yeah, it's they just have the name Tokyo Pop, but yeah, it's headed by Stu Levy, I believe, who's a rather controversial figure in the industry. Yeah, and they've been losing a lot of employees over time, and unfortunately, they were one of the guiding light. I mean, they were the ones that originally did the right to left, original manga releases. So they've been a really an important part of the world for a while, and so it's worrying.
It's a lot of people do buy Tokyo Pop manga, and they do the kind of stuff that teenagers can easily get into. With a lot of the stuff, or at least Tokyo Pop was, I think the Tokyo Pop manga was one of the first mangas I bought. Basically. Yeah. In fact, it was Chibi Vampire was the first ever.
Okay.
Yes, a lot of the channel is going to be Matthew reading Chibi Vampire. It's awesome. So you should read it. Yeah, it was the first manga I bought. So it's again, Tokyo Pop is kind of like for kids in a way. With the it's a good place to start getting into manga because none of it's explicitly bad. It's all just kind of meh manga.
Well, you say none of it's explicitly bad, but you haven't seen. Have you seen America's Greatest Otaku?
No, is it on actually?
Oh my God, there is an episode out.
And is it a game show?
No, it's dreadful.
How so?
It's basically okay. It's also got what's the name of the guy who runs Tokyo Pop?
Stu Levy?
First episode. Hi, I'm Stu Levy, the guy who owns Tokyo Pop. I've been thinking about going around America to make otakus awesome and stuff. And I am going to just do some BS about how you guys are the greatest people on the planet right now. And then basically it's just like, I have looked online on people who have entered, and I have created the Otaku 7. And it's just, the Otaku 7 is just a bunch of annoying, typical, super stereotypical otakus who I have no sympathy for, who just basically get to go around the country assessing whether that guy is otaku or not, and they're really freaking biased.
Wow.
How many of them are Narutards?
All of them. Actually, no. Okay, wait. Let's see. On so what's your favorite anime? Otaku 7. Mine's Naruto. What's yours? Mine's One Piece. All right, what's yours? Mine's Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. Okay, that's cool.
Wow. Yeah.
It was, and the worst part is, they're not real otaku. They are mainstream. None of them. I bet you that if I shouted at them, have you seen Elfen Lied? Have you seen Karen Kyokai? And have you seen Phantom? None of them would say they've heard of a single one. Yeah. I would shoot them.
Wow.
They are so annoying, and they should not be fit for judging otakus. And therefore, it's quite fun because I just want to watch the Otaku 7 gradually squirm when they see what real otakuism looks like.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that they got people who only buy Viz Media manga. I mean, you'd think they would get people like one guy's at Lupin the Third fan, because Lupin Tokyo Pop did release Lupin the Third manga. Yeah. Maybe a guy who likes the Rave Master manga, because that's also another Tokyo Pop.
Yeah.
Maybe even a person who read the GB Vampire, or the GTO manga for that matter.
Yeah. No, the only props to Tokyo Pop I have is just about anime in general. It's not.
Yeah.
I've seen the first 20 minutes, and it's not super Tokyo Pop bias. I mean, they can only use clips when they show them from Tokyo Pop, but they aren't they're free to go into stores and just have people. But yeah, I mean, it's not really a game show. It's literally just people going around looking at otakus with the world's worst otakus, judging them as otakus, and then what happens is that on the last episode, they will go back to their favorite places, and they will make the next Otaku 7, and then the 8th of the Otaku 7s, who they judge to be the best mainstream otaku, will then be sent on a 2 weeks paid trip to Japan, and I will inevitably be there waiting to shoot them at the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, you don't need to do that, because the Yakuza will get to them first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those people would have to be, by definition, in my opinion, weeaboo. I'm sorry. Open your horizons, kids. There's more than just Naruto and PlayStation.
Well, that's an interesting question. It's an interesting question. I mean, are they picking people who are going to appeal to a mainstream audience?
Yeah, they are.
I mean, I don't think that show is aimed at us. It's aimed at a mainstream audience.
Picking at the guys with the big manga collections.
Yeah.
I have a big collection.
Yeah, as in, if I was in America right now, they would immediately dismiss me because I do not have a huge manga collection. Yeah, trust me, I know so much more about. I'll just brace them going, I'm an ONV. I show some intelligence and talk about anime.
There we go.
Okay? That makes me automatically. It's just like, these guys are such idiots and I hate them. And seriously, there's one funny guy in Otaku 7 who knows something.
But it opens up the question. I mean, I think that show is, they're not trying to hire hardcore otaku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it almost shows that the reason they get laid off is they're not making any money. So
Yeah.
it's just they're trying a way to suck up to the audience. Going,
Well, it's the odd thing. I mean, I can only assume what they're trying to do with the show is make a show that will sort of normalize otaku to the general audience.
oh no,
The-
no, it's only hardcore manga. And literally, it's just it makes us look bad.
Well, yeah, that's the weird thing. That's why I can't understand the show. Is what you described. I mean, well, and the thing is, I mean, it could very well be they're trying to make us, be buffoons, so that will become more normal to people. It could very well be their view is that the only way to make us seem, okay, is to make us look like otaku in Japan.
Yeah.
And sort of elicit sympathy, if you will, which I think is the wrong idea.
Yeah.
But it certainly seems to be the direction they're going with that. And the problem is, no one cares.
Yeah. I'll watch like the rest of the episode and I'll report to you next week. I'll see if it's as dreadful as it started. But trust me. And also, can I just say, the guy who owns Tokyo Pop, he is annoying.
Okay.
He has the most annoying voice. It's just so annoying. Just get an interview. I'm gonna find America's greatest otaku. Oh, that is
wow.
Nice to meet you.
Wow. All right.
I thought the Otaku 7 should be dragged around screaming rather than going, I can't believe I'm at this airport.
Anything else?
Catherine.
Well,
Go for
it. I've been waiting for this moment. Okay, so anyone doesn't know, Catherine is basically over-sexualized freaking awesomeness.
Okay.
It's just a freaking evil as hell puzzle game that's got a really awesome story, and people who like Japanese games should be excited because this is by Persona, guys. This is by the same team who does Persona, and it's Shin Megami Tensei games, and it looks really freaking fun. And it was really funny just watching the reactions because the Japanese reviews are ridiculous. Like on basically, I've looked at a bunch of reviews and I with Japanese games and stuff. I look at sort of Japanese reviews and do what Rotten Tomatoes doing, which is normalise a percentage score for them. For the reviews I've seen, and this is on one that it's not actually even advertised that much on Japanese sites, so it's not that they're trying to give it good reviews for money, because it's not actually that mainstream. But Jesus Christ, 94%.
Wow.
That's A, ridiculous, and B, it outsold Marvel vs. Capcom 3 in its first week.
Yeah.
I mean, A, that's ridiculous in two ways, because you're outselling a Capcom game in Japan.
Yeah.
And I mean, hopefully this means a European release so I can get it. All they're going to do is just make sure that you can have both the Japanese and the English ones, because just in case we get an I'm sure whoever's normalising it will do a good job with the voices, especially the fact that they've actually got the people who play because every person who plays a character in the show has done anime and drama before, and they get the people who's played the dubbed versions to do them, and the people who do good dubs. So we have still got is it Stephen Bloom who plays Spike Spiegel? Yeah, we still got Stephen Bloom. He will be the main guy, and that's great because. But yeah, I mean, trust me, everyone should totally search this game up. It looks epic. It's just called Catherine.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it. I know it's one of them. It's kind of like one of those really interesting like detective games. Is that kind of like what it's like?
I wouldn't say detective. It's horror puzzle.
Okay.
It's like you go into a dream world. There is a sort of detective-y element to it to find out why you're having these dreams. But you go into like these dream states and you have to sort of do like a mixture of Cubert and Saw.
Sign me up.
Okay, it's basically just
nice.
It's like moving blocks and stuff. But with really horrific. It's really hard. You have to actually like look at it. It's all about sort of. It's really adult. It's sort of all about dealing with like personal issues and sort of commitments, and it just looks awesome. And anyone who thinks, oh, it's just a puzzle game, it's going to be too easy. I will warn you now, they've had to do patches and daily videos because the game is too hard.
Good.
So it's hardcore puzzle meets awesomely well-realised visual novel with really cool branching conversation system where the entire game and your character will change dependent. So there we go.
Good. It sounds very cool.
Yeah. Trust me, just search it up on YouTube. You'll find all sorts of cool gameplay. It's out in Japan at the moment, and just look at trailers and you will just go, wow, it's adult, it's ridiculous, and it's really stylized, and it's done by Studio 4C.
Yeah.
I mean,
man,
that is and the animation sections are gorgeous. Like, they are so cool. So, yeah, I mean, I can't wait for this if it does come to Europe. I'm surprised this came to America first, actually, because Europe are the people who are against violence, and America are the ones who are against sex.
Yeah.
So the fact that a sexualized game is coming to Europe, no, it's not coming to Europe yet, and it's quite funny to me. But there we go.
It is, yeah. It's surprising. Okay, anything else?
Normally thing. Index, yes, great.
Yes, good.
Okay.
And I shall now shut up for 10 minutes. And I've got a smoothie ready.
There we go.
Yum, yum, yum. Tuara Medusa, the author of Tuara Medusa's No Index, the novel, if I can be really, really quick and actually find out the Kazumi Kamachi, there we go, the author, has released a new sort of spin-off-y series, as was mentioned in Brent's Anime News Corner, spin-off to the Tuara Medusa No Index, which actually follows on from Tuara Medusa No Index rather than taking the different characters. But really surprised people because of the ending of the Tuara Medusa No Index series. You know, no one thought there was going to be any more after novel 23. It was, which I accidentally found out.
Oh dear.
Which made me scream at the computer. I actually, and it's one of those endings that you really, really wish you didn't find out, because then you never look at a character the same way again.
Yeah.
So I started screaming, literally screamed at the computer. But yeah, it's good that they've done it. It's called New Testament, and it's I really can't explain the plot without giving a major spoiler. The plot is so integrated with the actual whole overall plot. If I told the plot, anyone getting into the series could not read it without knowing this massive spoiler. It's something that would ruin the series for you. But yeah, it's just I wanted to make a few comments on it. This thing, the novel series, is incredibly popular in Japan. To just give you a summary of how popular it is, it's more popular than the Haruhi light novels. It's like number 2 in sales. I think last year it made number 1. So it's just really weird that it hasn't been translated. Because for one, again, it's not just that the book's more popular. Last year in 2010, the anime and accumulatively the manga, the anime, and the novel, but won 2 awards character-wise. They won number 1 male protagonist, Kamijo Toma, who is awesome, and in my opinion is the number 1 male protagonist, and number 1 female protagonist, not Index though, however, Misaka Mikoto, which again, if you know me from this show, know why I would agree with that intensely. No one shoot anyone that disagrees.
Alright, who was 2009? Anyone know?
I
don't.
No.
But yes, they've been Tuara Medusa No Index novels, and the anime has been winning awards, for the past 4 years now. It's won tons of awards, and actually, that's what I had to say about it. But yeah, it's just, it needs to be translated. It needs to be brought over here so I can buy it and hold it while I sleep and just be weird, be an ultimate otaku. That's I was going a little too far.
Well, calling it New Testament worries me, because the last time I heard something was being called New Testament, it was the New Bible Black.
Ah!
Oh boy.
No.
Well, that's one thing I like about the fact that it's called New Testament, because obviously the people that know the story, it's religion / magic meets science. So I think that's a really cool, just knock.
But why not New Testament beta or something? Give it a sciencey twist.
Well, that would have been good. That's what
Yeah.
That's what they went in. But yeah, I like the title.
Or if they did if they did the new symbol, the curvy one, New Testament.
There we go.
But yes, that's one thing I will say to the chat room. Don't look it up. Don't look up the synopsis.
It just ruined the series for myself.
Yeah.
I was just like, a new story about thingy. I should research this for Matt. Oh no, I just spoiled myself the entire.
Yeah.
Don't look it up if you have any thought of getting into the series, because you will never look at the character.
Pro tip.
Ever again.
Same thing with Gundam Unicorn, by the way. Just that's a popular one. There's a lot of stuff. By the way, you'll go to the Wikipedia article. This is what happens in the light novels. Oh.
Yeah. Same thing with Phantom as well. Don't get that spoiled for you. It will ruin you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like light novels are a lot like fan fiction.
Yeah. How so?
Just because it sounds like all the characters that are awesome in the anime and manga are like completely different in the light novel series. That's at least what I'm comprehending.
Sometimes. Yeah.
It's more because they've had more time to develop in light novels. The light novels are the original ones. It's more of a case of where they're going. We look at them differently.
That's another reason why I don't understand why there isn't a translation for Tuara Medusa Main Age, because Tuara Medusa Main Age, I'm just going to call it Index, is noted for being so close to the light novels. They don't change anything. They just have to take things out. They don't. Everything's pretty much the same. It's like I've read some of the novels, and obviously it's all fan subs and fan translations. But the dialogue's the same. A lot of it, they do say some of the notable lines. Obviously, I won't know this until they do an actual translation and an actual dub. But it's noted for being very, very close to the light novel. So that's another reason why I don't get because it's been licensed to be dubbed. It is being dubbed. That's it's going to be released as a dub this year.
Nice. Yeah.
And people can again tell how excited I am. But I don't act it. I'm not acting it at the moment. I would give an example, but your ears would be exploded. But yeah, I really don't get why it hasn't been...
I can tell you why.
Go ahead.
Light novels don't sell.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
I'm sure there are a lot of series that folks would that sold very well in Japan, and the folks are like, well, we're not going to make any money off of it. Look what happened with Boogie Pop, where Boogie Pop launched the light novel craze in Japan. It was the origin of it, and they managed to get through 4 volumes and had to stop because they're saying we keep hemorrhaging money out of this project. So it's a problem. But
it's a shame.
Yeah. So but hopefully, and the light novel market is certainly evolving, and folks are still trying things. So hopefully, we'll get at least it's what I kind of wish they do, kind of like what they do with manga. Try a bunch of stuff. Get the first volume of a bunch of stuff and put it out there. And generally speaking, in most worlds, you'll get one hit. You'll lose money on a bunch of them, but one will do really well and will compensate. And then at least we have some stuff out there. But then again, I'm not in the business, so I don't know.
I mean, you think about has lots of money that can do this. All right, Tokyo Pop.
No, wait a minute.
I like news stories. Yeah. I've never read the any light novels yet. I like get the Gothic one though, because I'm liking the anime series. So
there we go.
One last news story I'm going to bring up. I'm not even going to talk about really.
Okay.
Is the School Days HQ brought to America.
Yeah.
Dating Sims brought to America. That's good, because this is like a genre that is like never been heard of from here in America. Like everyone doesn't know. The gamers in America don't really know about dating sims, and I think it would be very interesting if like a new genre was brought to America.
Well, there've been plenty of dating sims brought over.
Well, I mean, in stores though.
Is this going to be in stores?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't think it's going to be one of those.
Don't think so.
For online things, this isn't a wide, big release. This is more of a hide under the covers. School Days is coming.
Yeah, it's true. I like the fact that they're releasing a dating sim. Maybe I am over exaggerating about the fact that it's being a big release. However, the fact that it's School Days. Yeah.
Well,
someone tricked me into watching the anime of this, and God damn it, I hate that guy so much. And I actually like the ending very much. The ending is very happy to me. I smiled at the ending.
Okay.
There's a very
I
nice boat
don't
in
feel
the ending.
guilty anymore.
I love the boat in the ending. Nice boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice boat.
Well, I mean, Dan brings up a very good point. This could be the first time that the dating sim was brought over because of the popularity or notoriety of the anime.
Notoriety, yeah, that's a better word.
I mean, generally speaking, you will get dating sims, but because wow, this is hardcore porn. Let's bring it over. It'll sell to the pervs. But there's no connection to the anime. But this is clearly wow, folks know School Days. Maybe they want to play the original game.
But I need this to do well because some of the because they're remaking the old Phantom visual novels on 360 with like the new animators of the TV series. And it looks really cool at the moment. But the people who are trying to bring School Days over are the same people who were saying they're thinking of bringing this over. Please do well, School Days, I beg you. Please, everyone, School Days roll your friends. Either if you have a choice, Rick roll, Bible Black roll, or School Days roll. Just School Days roll them now.
Cool. Well, I think that does it for this week, and I think we covered it.
Don't forget the question. We forgot the question last time.
Good point.
Yeah.
So the question of the week last week, I don't think I received any responses on that one, but let me just
because it's
check.
such a simple question that you asked.
That's true. The question was, how many anime discs do you own? No, that was the previous one.
Ago.
No, yeah.
Which was this one?
It was how many anime conventions have you been to?
Oh, right. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
It was the one
I did receive one from Lanky King. From Lanky King Has Returned, who has been to 7 different cons and is already planning on going to MCM.
MCM, I'm really nervous about some of my first con.
Look for me there. I'm going to be dressed as Accelerator from Index, if you know who Accelerator is.
Nice.
I'm going to be dressed as Spy. I'm making a mask.
Nice.
Well, yeah, the dude that's going to MCM, look for a guy with a crutch, with white hair, and looks like me, this dude. Look for me, because I'm going to be there all day.
There we go.
Seriously, find me, shake my hand, and we'll have a chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Look for a guy who's got a white mask with sort of like a bluish smile on it, wearing full combat gear, possibly got a water pistol on him, and also will be shouting at manga and Funimation Entertainments about something dubbing a certain anime. So basically, look for the guy who's being thrown out wearing a mask.
Yeah, you won't be shouting at them. You'll be beating them to death with my crutch.
Basically, yeah. You
look for the guy who's carrying the sign that has stuff about Phantom in it, and he's just sort of outside.
You will find me, I promise you.
3 books if you like Phantom.
Put your hands up. Put your hands up if you've never been to a convention or extremely nervous about going to this one, but are happy because you're going to be complaining at manga entertainments. Put your hands up.
There we go.
Just look for the guy who's either getting thrown out or shouting.
So how about you guys? So Matt, how many cons have you been to? And as a reminder, this includes the same con multiple years. Each one of those attendances is going to a con.
I've been to 2.
Okay.
I've been to MCM twice now. I went to May last year and October last year, and I'm going to May this year because obviously I'm a mouse. I'm dressing as Accelerator. Yeah. And going to the con, going to a con, is honestly so far one of the best experiences of my life.
Wow.
And that's not hyperbole. Hyperbole. Matthew can word.
We're going to have to organise something so I can go on the same day.
Well, I'm going on a Saturday. Always a Saturday.
I'll see you on a Saturday.
The one thing I don't like about cons, just to do a little more than just say 2.
Yeah.
Is I love them so much that I hate leaving. Because it's so amazing to be surrounded by 4,000 plus people that you could talk to randomly and have some sort of conversation with, and know you would get on with them to some extent. And you know these people are like you. None of them would judge you. None of them are against you. You're all technically friends. Yeah. And then you go home to your boring little grey town where you are only otaku.
And free hugs.
I about cons.
And
that's the only bad thing about cons.
And see the usual line of otakus on fire on crossover there.
And can I say, Zan, man, how they have a very different experience of cons than we do. Anyway, but yes, so Miniman, how about you?
Yeah, 0.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
It's literally just a cat.
I feel sorry for you. Are you okay? How do you feel? Are you ill? Is there something wrong with you?
I never been to convention because I was never aware that they were on.
Yeah.
It was literally just a case of I would go if I knew other people who would go, but there's no one here.
Yeah. It's always the problem. How about you, Zen?
I have been to four the same. Anime Con. Once in my freshman year of high school, once in my sophomore year, once in my junior year, and once in my senior year, and now this year will be my fifth, and it'll be first in my first year of college. I actually have a collection of all my badges, by the way, because the badges here at Anime Con are awesome, because it's like a different theme every year.
Yeah, nice.
My freshman year was like, it was like a plug suit mecha, and now this year it's steampunk, and it's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, I love going to FamiCon. It's like the biggest one in the Bay Area. Yeah, this year I'll be dressing up as Gintoki from Gintama, but I'll also be wearing my Rising Zan attire because yes, Rising Zan is a character of mine.
Okay.
And he even has his own awesome costume.
Cool.
Yeah. And by the way, once I do get a camera, you will be seeing the costume because I wear it every time we have a thing. And it's not anything elaborate. It's like some really basic stuff.
Okay, cool.
And remember, Stan, the first thing we'll do is tell me when you get the camera because I will do the most epic advert in history.
Okay. I will definitely get before FamiCon starts, which is this May, Memorial Day weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I found my badges. Yay!
Woo!
3 of them. Yeah, one's like a music theme, one's like a Asian ninja theme, and one's like a celestial night theme.
Ah, cool. Yeah, I've been to, and I'm actually not sure is the problem. I've been to about 10, because I've gone to Otakon pretty much every year, but that's the problem is I started going in 2001, and I missed a couple, and I'm not sure which ones I missed or how many I missed. I've also been to New York Anime Festival, Anime Expo, actually more than that, because I've been to Katsucon and Anime USA a few times. Which are all smaller conventions. Those
Anime
recent ones.
Expo is one in LA, right?
Yeah, Anime Expo is the big one in LA, the biggest con in the.
I went to that one one day.
Oh, did you?
I'm gonna I'm probably gonna take me and my cousin one of these years.
Yeah.
One of these years. Not this year, but once we get a car that can actually run long distance, and I'll grab my cousin. We'll both go down there and we'll go to his debuts and stuff like that.
Yeah, Anime Expo is up to about 35,000 attendees, I believe now.
XRM7, pathetic. Matt was like 4,000.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's that Otakon gets about 30,000. Everyone else gets like 3,000. It's like 2 huge ones, then a bunch of smaller cons. It's just for whatever reason those 2 have attracted huge amounts.
Hey, are you an otaku? Do you like being culturally ignored? Welcome to Britain.
Well, and that's the interesting thing, actually, and I want to spend a quick moment mentioning. I have a very different experience than Matt mentioned, because one of the problems with convention crowds, especially these really large cons, is that I don't feel like I'm a member of a family, a member of a bunch of friends. People are very dismissive. People are very cliquish. They go around in small groups. They say things about other people while in these groups. It's a very
high school.
It is. It's very high schoolerish. And granted, I mean, most of the folks there are in high school or college, but it isn't that pleasant. And that's actually one of the reasons why I've transitioned to more of the smaller cons, because it's a lot more fun at a con where you're not one of a billion different people. And especially because just at one of those larger gatherings, you just can't wrap your head around that many people. You don't really want to get in groups with folks. It's a very different experience. And you have now the advantage you do have at Anime Expo is that California is just a lot more laid back, so folks are just more chilled out there.
I don't know about you, but here at Fanime, we're very friendly. Overly friendly. Actually, Fanime has a tradition of attracting these Christian protesters that have a church across the street. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get protests from them every year. And we make fun of them for it. It's
good.
It's tradition, actually.
Okay.
They come to picket fence anime is the devil, but we can save you.
Yeah, it's your tradition to throw rocks at them. It's okay.
Nah. See, the thing is, we're much more friendly at FamilyCon. We actually more like play with them.
Okay.
We don't throw rocks at them.
I have a ball. What's a football?
Pretty much, yeah. Like here at Fan Day, I don't know. Maybe Fan Day is one of those smaller cons that Brett was talking about, but it's loads of fun at Fan Day.
That's good.
It is loads of fun. There's karaoke. There's anime agents game to be played. There's Whose Lines is Anime, which is funny as hell.
Nice.
It's like the show, but with anime references. If we do meet up, we should totally meet up at AnimeCon. It's just so.
I did make a suggestion as well for what you should get someone or yourself should do as a cosplayer. Dress as a Reverend Father. Go up to the picket line, shake their hands, and walk inside.
Yeah, nice.
Do that.
We already have people doing that.
Oh wow. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure about the MCM. Just an example of how friendly they are. I was sat waiting for someone I was meeting up in October. I was just sat staring, obviously. This one girl dressed as it's like a big robot boss.
Okay.
From Metal Gear Solid. I was just staring because obviously I don't play Metal Gear, and it was rude to stare. I was just like,
yeah. Well, although I mean, when you're cosplaying, people are going to stare at you. It's a little different.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I was staring for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And she just turns to me, and instead of giving me this creepy boy staring at me, because I think she was about my age, probably even younger. And she just said, I'm so and so, and explained it to me. And then we had a quick conversation about video games.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
It was like, I'm more of a Mass Effect fan. I never really played Metal Gear. I played the old SNES version. Blah 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 blah. Kind of thing. It was just nice to have that random conversation.
Yeah.
Then she left. Then I took a picture of someone dressed as a queen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's exactly what family is for me. Like I cosplay for the last 2 years, and I get pictures all the time, even though my cosplay is crap at that. The wig. But now I do. So yay. All the cosplayers and everything. There's like this. Oh, there's one guy who dressed up as Spam. Not the can of Spam, but like Spam online Spam.
Wow.
Like there's a guy that has basically just paper. He's paper all over.
Okay.
And he has like the whole like smiley great face for his mask.
Nice.
Yeah,
I can say all the great. We have like great cosplayers coming every year, and I know all of them. Like we have an Akuma who is like a martial arts expert and lifts someone with his foot.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, like
cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but fan day's probably my favorite convention.
Cool.
It's to see Vic Mignogna. That's all I'm gonna go for.
Vic is awesome. Vic is definitely awesome.
I know he is.
Cosplay mention is the best. Just October. This will be really quick. The best cosplay I saw consisted of a box of Cheerios.
Wow.
Let me explain. No, we were waiting in line, and we were just, we were so bored, and I was just pulled, little cousin on my shoulders. I was kind of getting tired, and then I noticed in the line a dude with a box of Cheerios on his head.
Okay.
To ice face. That was his cosplay.
Wow.
It was awesome. He was high five.
I am Briaricos.
They have that tape to stop you from going out of the
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
And people were being dicks and breaking the tape.
Yeah.
They weren't going out of the lines, they were just breaking the
Oh,
tape.
okay.
I really hate that.
Yeah.
But, eventually, I saw this dude again, and he had the tape wrapped around his
Gotcha.
around the box of Cheerios.
Yeah.
That was his cosplay.
I actually, I've heard at Dragon Con, just to get even further off topic, at Dragon Con a couple of years back, there were a couple of girls who you're not going to believe this, cosplayed as CSI victims. So they were wearing police tape, and that's it. Yeah.
I need a time machine.
Brent, I can talk to you on that one. Brent, I can talk to you on that one. After FanimeCon, we have another different convention that's a little bit more 5 miles up north from here in the Bay Area.
Okay.
It's called YaoiCon.
Oh yes, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top that.
So actually, that leads.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That leads to the question of the week for this week, which is, what is the most impressive cosplay you have ever seen? And I will say you can. I prefer things you have seen in real life, but if you have to, i.e. you haven't been to a con or whatever, it can be something you've seen like in a photograph. But real life is preferred.
That gives me a chance here then. Best costume I've ever seen. Yeah. I've seen someone who owns a costume. I mean, it's not anime, but it's still very funny. Talking about, you know, you had your whole thing about.
Oh, wait for next week. Wait for next week.
Okay. It's not cool, but it was just a man dressed as a can of spam.
Yeah, nice.
So cool.
All
right. Well, then I want to thank, as always, my guest hosts for joining me. Thank you very much, Matt from Life and Times of Anime.
It's always a pleasure to entertain you people, and always a pleasure to be entertained by you three. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you very much, Miniman. Good to have you.
Yay! I've lost all intelligence of fun things to say this week. I'm so sorry.
And thank you, Zan, for joining us.
In 2009 at FamilyCon, I named myself Silver Dumpling Demon. Was I freaking high?
Yes. And so until next time, that is me, Brent. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week with more anime news. Take care.
Okay, bye, me, Brent.
See you again this soon.
Sayonara, bye.